Breaking only moments ago from the New York Times, major new development in John Durham's investigation into the origins of the Russia probe. This is huge. By the way, if your name is Brennan, Clapper, or Comey, you may want to lawyer up because Durham is now seeking interviews, especially with top CIA officers. That's right. Investigation into the investigators is going to be all-encompassing. CIA Director Gina Haspel rightly is instructing her agency to fully cooperate, and they will, from the dirty dossier to the rampant spying against Trump associates, and then the leaking of sensitive material to rig an election. The single biggest abuse of power scandal in American history. The truth is now being covered. The boomerang of all boomerangs of justice is in full swing. And high-ranking former bureaucrats, they are in deep, deep trouble tonight. And there's no stopping this train. This is actually the most amazing setup you'll ever see. Brand new interview clip between the president and ABC's Georgie Stephanopoulos, the resident Clinton sycophant. Take a look.
Your campaign this time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
You want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it. If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI.
In many ways, that was actually a genius setup because the media mob will fall right into his trap, breathlessly spewing fake, phony outrage over a non-story for days. We'll be showing you the tape this time tomorrow night, ignoring the real abuse of power that took place in 2016 and the real Russian dossier that was bought and paid for and then used as a basis to spy on the Trump campaign. Oh, they're worried about, let's see, obstruction of justice, but only if it's Trump, not Hillary. They're worried about underlying crimes, but only if it's Trump, not Hillary. And today they turned Capitol Hill into the Twilight Zone. Known liar, the cowardly Adam Schiff. He held yet another hearing about his favorite fantasy, the Russian hoax, the only guy that's caught on tape colluding with Russians. And Schiff knows there was zero Trump-Russia collusion. 4 previous investigations, all concluding collusion is a lie and a myth and unprovable. But that doesn't matter to the cowardly Adam Schiff because he's nothing more than a liar and a con artist. That's why he won't come on this show. His sole mission is to smear President Trump every second hour of every day, just like the mob and the media. That's why the House Intel Committee chair held yet another sham hearing today on what he called disturbing findings of Volume 1 of the Mueller report. Read it. Don't forget the same volume that totally cleared Trump and his entire campaign. It said, quote, the investigation did not establish, Mr. Schiff. What part of this don't you understand? That members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The only one on a phone call with Russia looking for disinformation is you in a hoax. The only one that paid for Russian lies is your candidate, Hillary. Over $25 million spent, and even Mueller's team found no collusion. Instead, they were only able to produce a 400 and some odd page document filled with smears, insinuation, and even took an edited tape of the Trump attorney Dowd out of context, a heavily edited voicemail to make attorney John Dowd look bad. Wow. A total mischaracterization of Manafort's business associate. The Mueller report totally admitted Fusion GPS. They were complicit in paying for the Russian lies and propaganda. They hired Steele on behalf of Clinton. And that's only the tip of the iceberg that they missed. And how could they not investigate the phony Russian dossier if you're investigating Russia interference in 2016?
President Trump asserting executive privilege to shield files relating to a proposed census question on citizenship, I should say. All this as the House Oversight Committee prepares to vote on contempt citations for AG Bill Barr and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. That vote is now set for this afternoon. Chris Staszak is the former Assistant Attorney General with the New York State Attorney General's office.
Well, these votes yesterday, they're about one thing: pressure. putting pressure on Attorney General Barr. Nobody likes to be subpoenaed, even if he's ultimately not going to go to jail. And as far as the privilege, those are privilege arguments, particularly with respect to executive privilege. Those are arguments that presidents have been making effectively since George Washington. So those are legitimate arguments.
The president was falsely accused of this whole collusion narrative. Falsely accused. Do you investigate the false accusation, or do you investigate something Bob Mueller has already spent 22 months on and came back and said there was no collusion and did not indict on any type of obstruction of justice? So the Democrats, they're going to do the latter. They're going to focus on continuing to do what Mueller's already done.
So they're set to vote on this. What did you think of Jim Jordan's reaction there?
Frankly, I agree with him, and it also really shouldn't be. I know this probably sounds funny. It shouldn't be about politics, though. Using the incredible force of the government to do investigations shouldn't be about Republican or Democrat. And he's right. We had someone who spent 2 years, $35 million of taxpayer money looking into everything about President Trump, his children in Russia, and he didn't indict anyone else. But it's still going on, and it's even going on today with Donald Trump Jr. on the Senate side.